I'm 71 years old, and I've never told anyone this, not my family, not my friends, not even myself, until recently. If I could go back, I'd do things differently. But the truth is hard to admit. My mother died when I was 7. My father remarried soon after and had 3 more kids. He loved them, but for me, I was invisible. No hugs, no advice, no encouragement. Only cold reminders that I had to fend for myself. I grew up learning one thing. Nothing would be handed to me. I had to build my life from nothing. I met Clara in college. She was in my economics class, always smiling, always asking questions, always pushing me to think bigger. I was struggling to focus, juggling 2 part-time jobs and living in a cramped apartment. I had dreams, a small business I wanted to start selling custom furniture, but I had no money, no connections, and no one to believe in me. Clara noticed. She noticed everything. One afternoon, we stayed after class to discuss a project, and she asked why I seemed so tired all the time. I told her about my plans, about wanting to build my own furniture studio, Maple and Oak Designs, but how I could never afford it. She leaned forward and said, "If you really believe in this, I can help. A small loan. Nothing fancy, just enough to get started. You won't fail, because I believe in you." I was stunned. Someone believed in me when I had nothing. Someone saw my potential before the world did. That small loan didn't just buy wood and tools, it gave me hope. And in that moment, I realized Clara wasn't just a friend. She was the first person who made me feel like I could matter. From then on, we were inseparable. She came by my apartment late at night to help me sketch designs, stayed awake while I sanded and painted, encouraged me to take risks, to pitch my first clients, to believe I deserved success. I told myself I had to work hard, get my business off the ground. But I also told myself Clara would always be there, cheering me on. And she was. Every small victory, every first client, every moment I wanted to quit, she reminded me why I started. But I also started noticing the pull of ambition. The clients, the orders, the praise from strangers, it was intoxicating. I convinced myself that as long as I was building something, I was doing the right thing. I didn't notice the first cracks forming. I didn't notice when I started missing her calls, when my late nights became excuses, when I was more excited about my invoices than our conversations. At the time, I thought I was doing it all for us. I didn't realize I was slowly drifting away from the one person who had never left my side. And then came the first real success, a deal that doubled my revenue and made Maple and Oak Designs a name people noticed. I was proud, but looking back now, I see it differently. That's where the story truly begins. But that part, you'll have to wait for. Maple and Oak Designs, within a year, it grew faster than I could imagine. We hired a tiny team, rented a proper studio, and for the first time in my life, I felt powerful. I felt like I had finally escaped the shadow of my father's neglect. Clara was there through all of it. She celebrated each milestone, laughed at my corny jokes during late-night design sessions, and reminded me to take a break when I buried myself in invoices and client calls. But as Maple and Oak grew, I started to change. Not drastically, not all at once. It was subtle, too subtle to notice at the time. I began prioritizing meetings over dinner dates, emails over evening walks, deadlines over our conversations. When Clara wanted to discuss something important, I'd nod absent-mindedly, promising to talk later. Later became tomorrow.
Tomorrow became next week, and I didn't notice how much space I was creating between us. She never complained. Not loudly, not bitterly, but I could see the tiredness in her eyes, the way she'd brush off her own needs to support mine. She kept believing in me, even as I started believing more in my bank account, my contracts, my growing reputation. I told myself it was temporary, that once we were financially secure, I could make time for her again. And yet, the harder I worked, the further she seemed to drift. I was climbing a ladder I had always dreamed of climbing, but I forgot the person who had handed me the first rung. Clara, who had given me money, time, encouragement, and hope, was quietly carrying the weight of my ambition alongside me. Even as Maple and Oak Designs became the name people recognized, even as I signed contracts I once only dreamed of, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was losing something far more important. The very person who had believed in me when no one else did was quietly slipping away, and I didn't know if I could bring her back. Looking back, the warning signs were everywhere. The missed dinners, the postponed calls, the nights she sat quietly while I chased deadlines. But at the time, I was too blinded by success to see them. I thought I was doing it all for us, but really, I was doing it all for myself. And that realization would hit me harder than anything else ever could.
For months, tension had been simmering between us. Clara would ask for attention, simple things like dinner together, a phone call, or just time spent talking. I was always busy with Maple and Oak, chasing contracts, meeting investors, building the business. I would brush it off, promising later, thinking she'd understand. But the quiet frustration in her eyes grew each day, and our small arguments became more frequent. One night, after yet another heated discussion over something trivial, I remember watching her walk out of our apartment, her coat in her hands, eyes filled with that mix of anger and sadness I had come to dread. She didn't scream, didn't shout, she just left. No yelling, no dramatic exit, just silence. And then she was gone. Initially, I didn't feel the way I should have. I told myself I was free now, free to focus entirely on the business, to live without the distractions of someone asking for emotional support. And for a little while, that thought made me feel lighter. I met other women, casual encounters that fulfilled physical needs, but none of it filled the emptiness that had started gnawing at me. No laugh, no shared dream, no quiet reassurance. Just fleeting moments that reminded me, over and over, that what I had with Clara was irreplaceable. It wasn't until the months went by that the weight of my choices hit me fully. Every achievement I celebrated, every new milestone in Maple and Oak, felt hollow. I had money, recognition, the life I had dreamed of, but I had no one to share it with. Clara had believed in me when no one else did, had encouraged me, had even lent me the first bit of capital to get my business off the ground. And I had taken it for granted. I think about her every night, the way she believed in me, supported me quietly, without complaint. And I realized that all my success could never replace the kind of love she gave. Steady, unconditional, real. I failed to see it when it mattered, and now she's gone, probably building a life far away, happier without me. Every night, I sit in my empty apartment, thinking about the life I could have had. Achievements feel good for years, maybe even a decade. But when you grow older, when you truly need someone to stand beside you, it is love that matters. Love, loyalty, and the unwavering presence of someone who believes in you. Nothing else compares. Don't make the mistake I made. Don't let ambition blind you.
Cherish them, protect them, make time for them, because in the end, that is all that really matters.
And me, I will carry this regret with me for the rest of my life. Every day is a reminder that love, once lost, cannot be bought back with success or wealth. Learn from my life. Don't repeat my mistake. And if you want to learn more life lessons from real experiences, subscribe to Lessons from Life.